Grab your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And a real quick housekeeping note, if you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble or BitChute, hit that follow and subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or Google or any of the podcast platforms, please hit that follow and subscribe button. Help us build up our numbers so I can continue to bring you conversations like the one I'm about to have right now with the doc, Mr. Sean Daugherty. Well, first, Sean, how you doing? Thanks for being here today.
Doing all right. Hungover, but all right.
Yeah, a little rough this morning, but just left your training, your Saturday morning jiu-jitsu class.
Before we keep going, like, where's this mic need to be in proximity to my mouth?
Just let it right there is fine.
Right here?
It's picking,
not down here, up here? Okay.
Yeah, it's picking you up.
All right.
Good. You adjust the numbers there.
I can't hear what.
All right. And then, like I was saying as we were talking before he came on, but usually when I have somebody on first time, I like to get a background story. So do you remember originally what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Martial artist.
Since day one,
yeah. Since anytime I saw, like, first time I saw Bruce Lee, like 5 years oldish, understand what's going on. Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. I just knew I wanted to be a martial artist. I wanted to move my body that way, and I do what I want.
Awesome. And that was like about what age?
I was 5 when I knew. It was just, you got to go in and out. You never, through life. But it was like when I was 14, 1990, I started kickboxing. Well, I boxed when I was in the 6th grade for my brother. He was a Golden Gloves boxer, and he trained me how to box. That was like my first martial art. When I was like 6 or 7, my mom put me in Kung Fu. My attention span wasn't enough for that boring shit. I'm ADHD as fuck. I got to be moving. Yeah. I can't sit in horse stance for a half hour and move my hands out like super slow and bring them back and do this isometric shit. I just couldn't do it. So gymnastics was better for me. And then, sports, sports in general, just a way I can get the energy out of my body and express myself was how I did it. But it was not until I was 14 and I started kickboxing and Tae Kwon Doe. That was when I was like, okay, this is what I will be doing for the rest of my life. I'm going to be a professional fighter.
Nice. And then, so then that was like, as you're going into high school, and you said you were involved in some sports, like, kind of
little here or there. Like team sports were shitty for me because, again, my ADHD and low self-esteem, and I didn't want to be the one to fuck everything up for everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I shied away from them. I just was never good at social stuff. I was never really accepted by other people and my peers or anything like that. I was always kind of an outcast. So doing martial arts was kind of an outcast thing too. So, it kind of worked.
Were you drawn to like wrestling at all though too in high school?
I did like 2 months of wrestling. A buddy of mine, another skater, because I was a skater. Okay, so one of my skater friends was a heavy into wrestling, super awesome wrestler, and he tried pulling me into it. I did it for a little bit, but I was so claustrophobic and tiny. I was the smallest guy on the team, claustrophobic. I just sucked. I just quit. That was when I found, that year was when I found kickboxing. So I went from the wrestling right into kickboxing.
Okay. And then you did that for a couple of years. Then, I mean, I guess this was right around the time you graduated high school.
Yeah. Once I graduated, so I started my freshman year, all through high school, did the, Tae Kwon Doe, kickboxing. After I graduated, I fought in UFC 2. Was watching the first UFC with my friends, and I said I was going to be in the next one, and everything just worked out perfectly. I was up in Buffalo, New York the next week, and I had to help somebody up in Buffalo with a karate tournament, the Gallants, and Kevin Rozier was a family friend of theirs, and he fought in the first UFC. He was a kickboxer, and I met him there, and I was just like, hey, I want to turn pro kickboxing. Would you want to train me? I'm not even thinking about the UFC, and he ended up accepting me in. He turned out to be a bipolar manic depressant with a cocaine addiction. He checked himself into the psych ward of the VA and left me homeless in 40 below weather in Buffalo, New York, January of 1994. But his manager, Charlie Anzalone, was like, hey, if I would have known he was having this 18-year-old kid move up to Buffalo, and the way his life was going, I would have told you don't come. But since you're here and you've already gone through this, how would you like to be in the next UFC?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going. He said,
and I know I definitely want to get into some spiritual stuff with you because what I've gained from spending my time with you. I always love hearing some of your wisdom, but it's like even from 5 years old, you've kind of been manifesting your entire existence. You said wanting to be a martial artist, and you stuck with it and made it happen. You said, watching the first UFC, I'm going to be in the next one.
Yeah, I was a magician since I was a child.
Yeah. So then you're training, and that gentleman, you're up there.
Kevin Rozier.
Yeah, you're homeless up in Buffalo. This guy steps in and said, how'd you like to be in? Now this was back, for our audience that might not be familiar with the old UFC. You want to explain how things were then compared to how they are now?
Well, back then we didn't really know. You had the Ultimate Fight Championship, and that you fight UFC, fighting Ultimate Championship, stuff like that. Didn't have MMA back then. The name wasn't even made yet, right? Yeah. NHB came later. No holds barred fighting. Was the main thing it was called was NHB. And so when I fought, there were no rules except for no eye gouging, no biting, and no fish hooking. Groin shots were allowed, as you saw with the Joe Son fighting Keith Hackney, Keith Hackney fighting Joe Son.
Okay.
Punched him in the balls over and over again. Nut shots were allowed back in the day. So it was a whole different entity. You can hit the spine, you can hit the back of the neck, with your elbow. I mean, you could literally kill somebody. It was a lot easier back then.
Yeah, it was like gladiators. Roman gladiators.
Yeah, and your corner, the only way you had to tap, get knocked out, or your corner had to throw in the towel. The referee was not allowed to stop it. Big John McCarthy was the one who changed that rule. He changed so much about how it was, but it was just a cockfight.
Yeah, human cockfighting. Yeah,
I mean, John McCain. That's what John McCain called it back in the day. He was so against it.
Yeah,
that was like a funny thing. Like the conservatives love UFC. The conservatives of America, that's their sport. You know what I mean? It's like MMA is it. That's America. That's America. You know what I mean? But back when it was first starting, the conservatives hated it. It was, this is horrible. This is cockfighting. This is terrible. Yeah. But now it's completely embraced by everyone. It's part of America. It's part of our pastime. It's not as big as baseball yet, but it's getting there.
Oh yeah. But during that time also, there was no weight classes.
No weight classes. So I was the youngest. I was 18 years old for a while there until Dan Lausen showed up. I was the youngest competitor in the UFC at 18. And I was the lightest. I was only 169 pounds. They said I was much heavier than what I was. They lied about everything. They lied about my record and everything. I should not. Honestly, back in the day, I guess it didn't matter because it was style against style, right?
Yeah.
But even I was gonna say O.J. Simpson, the Cleveland Browns player that was commentating, Jim Brown. Jim Brown was commentating. And he's like, that young man's got no business being here. He's like, he should not have been here, especially how
his parents know where he's at.
exactly. You know, I mean, and you had Hori on. He pulled me into a room in the Marriott hotel where we were all stationed at, like based out of, and he pulls me in and he's like, you know, you're young, you'd never done this before. You do realize you could die, you know, so, you know, this is serious stuff. You have to fucking, you know, you got to protect yourself. You know, so.
But being 18, I mean, it was your.
Oh yeah. It was just like, fuck that. I'm doing this shit. I'm gonna be a movie star someday. You know, I was thinking I was gonna be like a stunt man in my future. You know, like this was gonna be the opening for everything, right? It was, but not how I thought. It came later. Like fighting in the UFC benefited me in so many ways. One, being one of the original fighters in the UFC. In the military, you know, like I came in late. You know, I was like 27 when I joined, and having that as my background was a good icebreaker for people. I wouldn't tell people, but people found out.
Yeah.
And my managers found out and stuff like that. And I got treated differently.
Okay.
Treated with a little bit more respect, trusted a little bit more. But also I was older, so I was given more responsibility faster. You know, I was put in charge of other airmen and, you know.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that then. Cause all right. So 18, you're in the second UFC.
Oh yeah. We got a wild timeline, bro.
Yeah. And big,
there's lots of stuff to fit in there.
Yeah. And Big John was your.
So I was Big John's first Let's Get It On. That was the first time he said, let's get it on.
Yeah. So and that was probably your fight too, where he's just like, all right, we need to make some changes or something, you know?
No, it was probably, no. It was, so my guy that beat me was Scott Morris, that ninja. And he ended up fighting Pat Smith. And Pat Smith was the one who elbowed the shit out. And that was the one that made controversy for the whole. That's what gave a lot of bad rep for the UFC. That's what, because was that match itself, because it was so bloody. Scott Morris had so many lacerations on his face from Pat Smith's elbows. He had to spend all of his winnings on fixing his face.
Wow.
You know, so. Yeah.
It's not really, it doesn't feel like a win after that.
So, I mean,
But then, you know, I mean, you stayed training and involved from that time period before you went into the military then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I read you
so
at the Lions Den.
Yeah. So
as well.
Ken Shamrock, I was supposed to be an alternate, and 2 weeks before the UFC 2 happened, I got a call from Art Davey, and he says, Ken Shamrock just broke his hand in training. He got a spiral fracture from blocking a kick from Brennan White and broke his hand. And he's like, would you like to step in and take his place? And I was like, does that mean I'm definitely on the card? I'm definitely fighting and I'm on the main card. He's like, absolutely. Like,
2 weeks before. Huh?
Yeah. 2 weeks before.
Out. But you had already kind of been training like, that was your goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it wasn't like you just had to cram, you know, for something like that.
Yeah, and it was just striking. I didn't learn any grappling. I didn't do anything. So Ken was there. He saw me training, and he recruited Jason DeLucia and I to go be, you know, at the Lions, train at the Lions Den, go fight in Pancrase and stuff like that. So Jason said yes. I said yes. So a month after the fight, I took my winnings. Well, first I took my winnings. I bought an ounce of weed and a strip of acid. It might have been, I think it was mescaline actually, but gel tab type thing. And I went on a vision quest to know what I should do. Because also Gerard Jordo propositioned me. He wanted me to move with him to The Hague and train.
Oh, okay.
Gerard Jordo from the first UFC.
Okay.
As well. He was at the second UFC, but he brought Freek Hammaker with her.
Where was he? Where's his?
The Hague.
The Hague? Okay.
Holland, you know, Dutch.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So he's a Dutch kickboxer guy. So I could have gone the kickboxing route with him, or I could have, you know, or I go the shoot fighting grappling realm with Ken. It's like, well, I already know striking.
Yeah.
I'm my weakness. I just got tapped out I got taken down with a sacrifice throw and tapped out by a fucking ninja. I better fucking learn something, right? So when new information is presented to me and I'm proven wrong, I'm the guy that changes. I'm the guy who adjusts and fixes shit. I don't sit there and put my head up my ass and think nothing's wrong and everything's okay and things are just going to change and it will eventually be right. You know what I mean? No, I had holes in my game. I knew that I needed to learn how to grapple and I needed to bring that weakness up.
Yeah. And like, you know, we hear in the jiu-jitsu community all the time, it's like you win or you learn, you know, and you got to stay open to learning. And that's what you were like, okay, what can I do to be better? So you ended up going to the Lion's Den and training with Ken. But let's hear a little bit about the Vision Quest. Where did you go for that? You know,
I was just in Cuyahoga Falls, just hanging out with my buddies. You know, just
okay. I thought
eating acid. No, I ate acid for like a couple days straight.
Okay.
It was on the end of on the last night of it. I was just
So
like, I came to. No, I was actually in a pool hall. When they realized it, I was like, okay, I'm going to go move in with Ken. This is what I'm going to do. So I took the rest of my money and I bought a plane ticket and moved out to California.
Nice.
So I made $1,500 for my fight in the UFC, bought weed, bought some, psychedelics, and then made my decision to go.
And the pool hall visionary.
Yeah, and it worked, dude. It was the right choice. I didn't make the wrong choice. Like to this day, all of it benefits me.
Oh yeah. And then so you're there, and then how many other fights did you participate in before you joined the military?
None, except for Pancrase. I fought Minoru Suzuki. So here's the thing about me. So when I was at Lions Den, I had to leave Lions Den because I got a really bad neck injury. I got a long neck and a big head. All right. Matter of fact, Mexican martial arts on IG and Instagram, they made fun of my fight. Like they did this awesome. Oh, it was great, dude. They fucking tore me apart.
Like Mystery Science Theater type.
Yeah, he's doing like, hey man, you would be thinking this is McDojo shit, but not. This is a real fight in the UFC, man. Like you got to see it. Mexican martial arts account. They're the ones who did it, but it was spot on. He's like looks like Max headroom, but you got to have Max neck room. It's like, so I always had a weak neck, and it's fused now. I mean, that's how bad the injuries were. But I had to leave the Lions Den from a neck injury. I came home, was healing up, and then my friends became Mormons, and they shared the message with me, kind of thing. And I was looking for, I was in this transitionary phase of my life. I was injured. Now I'm no longer doing the thing I wanted to. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
everything was shut down. It was like everything was shut down abruptly. And here comes Mormonism along, and I joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, go on a mission, meet my wife, get married, do the whole shebang, have 4 kids, all that kind of stuff. But
like, how do I provide now? What's my alternatives?
Right. So we're at 19. So 1994 was Lions Den, UFC, all that kind of stuff. I come back home. Christmas of 94, I joined the church. I take that year and get ready for a mission, go on my mission in 96, meet my wife, all that stuff. We get married, moved down to Ashland from Akron. And then I started training so we got married in 97, and I started training with John. I found John Saylor. So I was going to move back to California, right, and go back to the Lions Den. But I heard about this guy named John Saylor, who used to be the head coach in the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs for judo. He also had a guy that fought in the UFC, Christoph Leininger. Christoph, the judo guy. John Saylor was in his corner for that. So I walk into John Saylor's, and they're doing 500 squats, 200. They're doing the same workouts that I did at Lions Den. I was like, oh shit.
And he's
local,
okay.
Right. I'm like, I'm home. I mean, I don't need to go to Lions Den for this. I got everything I need right here. So I became his student with ShinGi Tai Jujitsu and Judo. So I got my ShinGi Tai Jujitsu black belt and my Judo black belt from John Saylor.
Okay.
And I've been with him this whole time. Now I have my training partners who are BJJ guys, all my friends, stuff like that. And that was how I was learning BJJ. But my main core art was ShinGi Tai Jujitsu, which is a complete system of throwing, punching, kicking, and ground fighting. It's just like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, but with more.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It takes longer to learn because there's more ranges to fight from. It's not just a grappling range, it's everything. But the grappling of it is just as good as Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Like just as good, if not better. And it was like, oh my God, this is everything. Like it was everything I needed. It was that missing part, and it was what I needed to move on from that
Okay,
point.
so that was the next part of your journey. And then, like, when was it that what urged, kind of motivated you for joining the Air Force? Then?
Well, my firstborn, like my son was born in 2000. I had just had my fight in Pancrase. So when he was born, right when he was born, I had my fight in Pancrase. Rewind. So year 2000. So I was talking about 97, I got married, I'm traded and stuff like that. 2000 was the first Arnold Classic that had grappling. Okay. And I entered that and I took second place. And then from there, I went to Pancrase and I fought Minoru Suzuki and I lost. I lost by Kimura. And then I wasn't getting any fights back then. Like, it was hard to get fights. The Ultimate Fighter had not yet aired. I'm talking about the Stephen Bonner fight and what's his name?
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on his. I see his face in his
Forrest.
ears. Yeah, Forrest
Griffin. Yeah. So I wasn't getting any fights. So I was just driving one day and I just had this realization: go join the Marine Corps. That's how you're gonna take care of your family. Go join the Marine Corps. So I go talk to a gunny, at the recruiting office. He's stoked. I can do 20 handstand push-ups right in front, but I had 2 shoulder surgeries. I had 2 shoulder surgeries in 1999, wow. Right? So in 1999, I had 2 shoulder surgeries. And then 2000, I took second place in Arnold Classic. So my first match off of my surgeries was this win, at the Arnold Classic. And then I go and fight in Pancrase. I lose, unfortunately. I come back and just things are going slow. Get the idea to go join the Marine Corps, get in there. There's no way the BUMED is not going to allow you in. I was doing 20 handstand push-ups after my shoulder surgeries. You're going to be fine. Turns out BUMED said no. Wow. I can't join the Marine Corps. I had 2 shoulder surgeries. So my gunny was like, dude, that's the BUMED. You still got the Surgeon General. Go Air Force. He goes, don't go Army, don't go Navy, go Air Force. There's a plethora of things you can do. It's cushier, it's nicer. You got, you're a family man, go do that. So this is May-ish 2001. I'm on the delayed entry kind of program kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I was supposed to swear in on September 11th, 2001, but I woke up to the planes crashing in the buildings, called my recruiter. I was like, I guess we're not going down today, right? And he's, no, everything's shut down. We'll go tomorrow. So I go down September 12th, swear in, and you have a full bird colonel there, and he's giving the speech of, hey, all you who are here, you can leave right now if you want to. We are going to war. All of you swearing in right now, you are swearing in wartime. Yeah. We are no longer peacetime. This is wartime. You will be going to war. So those of you who stay, blah, blah, everybody stayed, everybody swore in. It was a cool moment. And then from there, I went in January 8th. This is when I reported to basic.
Now, had you already gotten your judo black belt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're going in with all that too.
Yeah, I'm a ShinGi Tai black belt, judo black belt, Tae Kwon Doe black. I haven't gotten my BJJ black belt yet, but I was never going to get my BJJ.
Basic was like knitting club for you or something.
Oh yeah, I got out of shape. So I in May I was signed up to be a cop, right, in the Air Force, to become security forces, right? Okay. But when September 11th happened, that was when I switched my career field to combat control, because I wanted to kill as many of these motherfuckers as I could. I wanted to paint them with a laser and fucking blow them into fucking smithereens with a fire call. Yeah. So for me to go pararescue combat control, I had to learn how to swim, which I was deathly afraid of swimming. I was afraid of water because I had a near drowning experience when I was a kid. The first time, that bobbing, the drown proofing that they do in the pool for buds, that's how I saved my life one day. I was too far out and I couldn't swim. So I let myself sink. I touched the bottom of the ground, push myself up, get air, come down, push myself up, get air, come down. And I would do it like towards shore. Like I would jump in an angle towards the surface, get air and come down. Wow. So, but I was claustrophobic, afraid of water. So I had to teach myself how to swim, how to hold my breath, do breath holds, how to do all this kind of things and get through the mind fuck. So I did that. Taught myself what I needed to do, trained myself up, got into basic, went through basic, got to combat control school. Second day of training, I tore my shoulder off the bone.
Oh no, the one that's already been.
Yeah, but I finished the 2-week selection course with one arm. All right. So, and then when we got sent, we had time off before the pipeline before I had to report to Biloxi, Mississippi for air traffic control school. And my shoulder, I thought it was gonna heal up a bit, but it just wouldn't. It was damn near paralyzed. It was slipping out of socket. And the doctors were like, yeah, you're done. You can either stay in the Air Force and we'll reclass you into a job, or you can get out, because I was a guaranteed job position with combat control. That's what I signed up for, and I couldn't get it. So I could get out. But I stayed in because I joined the military to feed my family.
Yeah.
You know, so I got the job I never wanted. I became an air transportation journeyman. you know, I worked on the flight line. It was literally the job description that I said I did not want when I was looking through all the job descriptions.
Yeah. And then so I mean, you get handed that. Wasn't it originally what you went in for, but like, you know, you made the most of it. Like you said, you had a family to take care of. Like, what was the you know, like, what was your experience like, you know, while you were in, and what's like some of the oddest things that you remember from your time in?
So I remember my first base being Dover, Delaware. And it was a super port. It's like my career field. It's like one of the busiest, toughest bases to be at. And we were on like 18s all the time, like 12s and 18s, and 4 on, 3 off, sometimes 5 and 2s, but it was horrible. I mean, it was just a constant high pace. You might as well have been deployed. You were working deployment rates, you know, but, and I was only there for a year, and I got my orders to go to Okinawa.
Okay.
And that's the best part. You know, I did 3 years in Okinawa. I had my own school there. We went through rigor school, learned how to pack parachute, did more military type stuff than just airport type stuff. Lots of good experiences there. Had my own school there for 3 years, taught locals and military. That's where I really honed my teaching skills, and the stuff that I teach you today it was all born there. Like, it was really like all my students there, we developed everything during that time.
So that's when jiu-jitsu started coming more into your
it was always there. I mean, jiu-jitsu was always there, you know, ShinGi Tai Jujitsu, you know, whatever. I'm always around Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys, training with them. I was never going to get my belt. Because I was Team Shamrock. I'm like, I'm never going to get my Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. That was my goal, was never to get. I could have got it. Like, I should have had it. Technically, I could have been a black belt 2006, 7, 8-ish. You know, I honestly, where like everything I knew as a black belt, you know, when I tested out, like I knew in 2007, 2006, it was like at the end of my Okinawa journey was when I can actually say I self-actualized into black belt kind of knowledge, status, understanding, you know, just wasn't official yet.
Yeah.
So 2018, I tested out under Carlos Catania, Sergio Penha's top guys. And he was just like, yeah, man, you should have had this belt a long time ago, you know, kind of thing. And I was honored, you know, it took me time to pull my head out of my ass and not be so prideful and shit like that and get on board. It was stupid.
But yeah, so while you were in Okinawa, you know, you're doing your regular military job, but then you were able to open a school and train people there. Like, how did, I mean, I don't know. I am trying to think, like, did you have to like go through any kind of like proper?
No, I was on base.
Oh, it was all on base.
Yeah. It was at the base fitness at the Reisner.
Okay.
You know, we had a racquetball court that was changed into a padded room dojo.
And they were like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
And were you able to collect, I mean, money though?
Yeah.
Well,
People pay me cash, you know, and bring it in.
Nice. And then, so your time, you're at Okinawa, and I mean, would you say was that probably your favorite
base?
Base?
Oh yeah.
You've ever been in?
Yeah, I mean, the the Okinawans are amazing. Like I remember, like I had 2 kids at the time, 2 blonde-haired little boys, and we'd walk into the mall, and like a family would come up to us, oh, kawaii, and grab our kids out of our hands, right, and pass our kids to each other, and their family, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? But after a while, you just like, oh, this is cool. This is just, it's so cool, man.
Blonde
Yeah, most of the
kids,
crime on Okinawa was done by like military and military kids, like dependents.
Yeah.
And shit. It was always the Americans that were fucking shit up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I remember that.
Okinawa was amazing. The food was amazing. The people are amazing. I learned so much about myself there. And that's like my home away from home. One of my students that was there, he ended up expatriating there, he married a local, and he opened up a dojo there, and he's got one of the best dojos in Japan. It's right there in Okinawa. He produces champions left and right. His name's Benjamin Morinaire. He's got Morinaire MMA Self-Defense Academy in Okinawa. Amazing human.
Do you think during your time there too, like interacting with the culture and the people there, that contributed obviously to part of who you are today and your spiritual?
Oh, absolutely. Like that's where I lost all my political thing. I was a heavy conservative, right-wing Republican, kind of full retard, believed it was the right way, everything, and things like that. When I was a kid, I was liberal, my mom was Democrat, liberal, my parents Democrat, liberal, and I just, you don't know what the fuck you're doing or why. Exactly. But I was a Mormon, so the Mormon thing is real conservative. It's real right wing. It's they're almost like if you're not voting Republican, you're not a real Mormon, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But while I was in Okinawa, our unit was a combat mobility element. So we were a mobile airport. We would go into austere places and set up an airport, and people would relieve us as a permanent port. And then we'd go someplace else and open up another port and do it again and again and again. So the tsunami happened in 2005, Jakarta, Sumatra. Remember that? Okay. Yeah. So our unit was tasked to go help. So we were the first Americans on ground to help with the tsunami relief. And, first place was Utapao, Thailand. We set up shop, and then the Japanese Air Force guy, our counterpart unit, the Talsi, was stationed up in mainland Japan. In what was the name of that base? Not Misawa, but Yokohama or Yokota. And we're down here, and I'm like seeing all this devastation, and I'm seeing these people, the way they're acting to it, and they're all smiles, and they're all still going on with their life. They're just moving on. And I'm serving these people, helping these people. I spent 45 days in that theater. We even did a 12-hour mission where we went to Sumatra and Jakarta. We went to Jakarta, picked up a bunch of supplies, like filled up 5 C-130s, loose loaded them, pulled through all the regs out, Channel 3 mission type thing, and flew it up to Sumatra. I forget what it was. We went from Jakarta to Sumatra, Sumatra to Jakarta. But oh my God, dude, these were Oompa Loompa humans, dude. Like these people were half my size. These grown ass men were literally, I'd never seen humans like this. It was like homunculus. And it was just so amazing. It was like my first experience. And I just was just so taken back by the attitude and the culture and everything. I just lost my political leanings of anything. Like I dropped politics altogether. I became a human, a world citizen in a way. Like I want to love everyone. I want to serve and be friends with every human on this fucking planet. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not an American anymore. I'm not somebody who's got an agenda anymore. I don't give a fuck. I want peace on earth everywhere. That became my mission in life. You know what I mean? And you were saying like, they had just lost like everything, pretty much devastated, but their attitudes were still like, because they had their lives. And it's like, I mean, kind of how we here are so commercialized and we form these attachments to everything. Attachments, yes. All these attachments to these objects. That's like our status symbol or whatever. And the whole goal, the whole goal in marketing in our world is to get you to need your wants instead of wanting your needs. Yeah. You know what I mean? We have so much stuff we don't need. Like if that happens over here, people are just like, it's done. Oh yeah.
we die inside because we lost. But even though we're alive and our family's alive, and we should, focus on that gratitude. So that was a big aha moment. I'd say.
Yeah. And I just didn't want nothing to do with anything that caused me to, like, somebody to say I can't love that person.
Yeah.
I can't like that person because they're on the wrong team, kind of thing. And that was the beginning of me leaving my religion too. Like, I was so like devout with it. I'd like my religion was like the Mormons, like when that whole Proposition 8 stuff was going on, and the Mormons were dumping tons of money. They're supposed to be an apolitical entity, and they were like going against gay marriage stuff. Look, man, if we're still worrying about who marries who and where PPs go, oh my God, bro.
It's much bigger things.
There's so much bigger fish to fry and deal with in this country than worrying about where people put their private parts.
I remember during my last deployment, my girls were like, I came home, Celeste was 4 when I was over there, and Bianca had turned 8 while I was over there. And so it's like we're
Iraq.
Yeah. Well, I was mostly in Kuwait, but your father, you're missing your children, you want to make sure you're home to, but I remember we were doing a run, and I seen some kids out playing, like kicking a ball, and I was just like, no reason why my kids can't be kicking the ball with those kids. I'm being told that these kids aren't, because they're part of that, and that was kind of, I started having that similar, like,
most people do, man.
A lot over there.
You go into another country and you see how similar other humans are to the way we are. Like, we're not unique. We're not so different.
We're not the superior team or
and you go to countries where you think, you're expecting to see ghetto type things, war torn shit. It's just like here.
Yeah,
you'll find places just like here, man.
You can drive 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah, but our leaders don't want us to know.
Yeah,
that we're all the same.
Exactly.
We got to be set up.
You can't go to war and kill somebody if you look at them as an equal,
right? As your brother or sister.
Exactly. If they're family.
See, that was another thing. Like, my Mormonism, like, I got so much stuff out of it. I got more esoterics out of it. Like, I learned shit that nobody else was learning, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got a different message out. I got this message of love everyone. What did I say? Did I fucking stutter? I said love everyone.
Yeah.
And that was my thing. It was like, I literally wanted to be like Jesus was, help people, save people, get them better, life of service, but other people's idea of Jesus was different. There was always these, help someone, but it's got to be on these terms. And, they're just going to go put a stick. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to give them that $10. They can either buy a sandwich or they can fucking buy a beer.
Yeah.
Either way, they're gonna feel better after dude. You know what it's like to be homeless? I do. I know what it's like to try to fall asleep on concrete. A good beer buzz will fucking help that happen.
It's funny too, because I just recently, like, I came home and I was raised Catholic, and that was kind of like what was fed into me as a child, where I didn't have a choice. It was just
right.
Altar boy, all that stuff. So, it took a long time to unlearn the things that I was taught. But then when I came home from my last deployment, and it's like, now I'm going to be 14 years sober here soon, and then
awesome.
kind of got saved in a Christian missionary type church, which I'm still a member of. But the biggest obstacle I run into on my journey of spirituality and spiritual growth, because I'm like kind of very similar with you about, I want to love everybody with Jesus, who my definition of Jesus is,
right? Exactly.
In recovery, we a higher power of our understanding. Well, this is the Jesus I understand and the Jesus I'm relating to. But I run into the biggest problems with me growing in my Christian faith are other Christians.
Yes.
Coming in telling me
absolutely
this is the way.
Yeah. No, it's other people.
You're doing it wrong. because I'm associated, I even look at like, oh, well, I don't know, you shouldn't be doing yoga, you shouldn't be doing jujitsu.
What the fuck?
Shit like that.
Yeah,
You're
dude,
inviting
that-
spirits.
oh,
in and
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And then, or the concerts I go to and the music I listen to, and I'm like,
Jesus was a yogi.
yeah, I'm like,
He
Jesus was hanging out with the sick people.
Yeah.
If I could be at a concert,
Jesus
drink
and
my water,
Buddha.
enjoy music, and help somebody else, they're gonna say, wow, what makes you different?
Jesus and Buddha are brothers, man.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's
They came from the school, the same
same
teaching,
fucking school, man.
But yeah, so it's like that's I'm really connected with you there because it just was recent with me too that more people were getting on me as my podcast is growing and my relationships with musicians. I've got a great friendship with a lot of sober musicians, and they come to town and I go to their shows and hang out with them. I don't know if you should be going to those secular concerts. I'm like, I'm hanging out with spiritual people that are
right, dude. There's
sober.
There's more of the world in the church than there is, with my friends. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So that really struck me, hearing that, and another connection I definitely have.
Yeah, that's why I left my religion. That's why I left my religion. That's why, look, I don't identify as a Christian anymore or anything like that. But if Jesus would recognize me, if you know what I mean, if it's real, if he's real, he would recognize me as one of his. Yeah. And if it's Muhammad, he would recognize, what I mean? Whatever, I try to like what I learned, the Jesus that I knew is very different than what everybody else was telling me it was supposed to be, what they thought it was. And I just couldn't fucking get down, I'm down with unconditional love, love people anyways, kind of thing. Now I suck at it sometimes. I'm not great. I hate people too. People get on my nerves. I want to fucking crush them. There's horrible people in this world.
Yeah. We're human. You know? I mean, I can relate. And then, I know, well, we'll get into that.
But I was just constantly judged because, I was cool with everybody and people were telling me I can't be cool with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't get to be that. I have to be this example to the world of, how to be a perfect man. It's like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight to carry. That is carrying across every day, It's just like, I'm not perfect. So it's like, why set these unsustainable goals? That's how I felt as a Catholic. I kept going for these brass rings and, that were just like, I could never reach. And then that's when I went totally like into my addictions and, the opposite way where it was just like, cursing God and hating, religion and stuff like that. And then I had to be refined over there in the desert, I guess, and kind of come back to, then I came back kind of like almost like Uber,
it happens.
And then then you kind of, it's all about
it's
balance.
The swing. Yeah. We go, balance, the golden mean is, in alchemy, everybody's, they think about like the alchemists were trying to change lead into gold. No, lead is us. Yeah. It's the gold, we're trying to find balance within ourselves. We're trying to find that golden mean within ourselves. Too far virtuous, too far vice. Yeah. Both become vices. You know what I mean? Too much virtue becomes a vice.
I find myself more attracted to, Star Wars and the Force.
Yeah, that's Taoism though. But that's Tao. You're attracted to Taoism then, because that's the religion that they actually pattern the Force after, the Jedi, the detachment and all that kind of stuff. It's about Taoism.
I'm trying to, I'm not, and I don't get that right all the time either.
But the Tao is great, man.
Fear and anger.
Look. So what I learned from Jesus was Taoism.
Yeah.
Like my Jesus is a Taoist, okay? Like he's more of a, there aren't these defined fine line specific things. It's more just, hey man, go love each other, go have fun, serve each other, be nice, be kind. And that's one thing I'm realizing, that it's more about emotion, right? In this world, like the vibration that comes from emotion, it's about you can make people feel good. And you have people in a room, more people in a room that are feeling good, everybody feels good. It's contagious. I never want to hurt someone's feelings. Yeah. Because that brings things so low. It changes the environment. It changes everything. And I just want to uplift everyone, and that's what I have to have in me.
And I've had to learn, and I'm still learning, when I'm in a fear state, because like, I got my oldest, we had a big blow up the other day, because of some decisions he's making that has me worried, as a father and stuff. And I'm trying to let her be 22 and learn on her own and stuff like that. But when I'm in a fear, you know, how do men usually react when they're in fear? It becomes anger.
Decisions should never be made in fear.
Yeah. And then I'm screaming and I'm yelling and my emotions are getting, you know, and I'm causing all of our energy to be down. You know, I'm dragging everybody's energy down.
Exactly.
When I step out in faith and in love, I'm uplifting, you know, I'm putting that out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
don't be afraid. You know what I mean? It's like what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, if she, you know, I got to have that radical acceptance where, God forbid, if she's gone, it's like, was she mine ever, you know?
Oh, now you're going into stoicism. Yeah. Now you're going into stoicism.
I've been blessed to be her father on this realm, but you know, am I really her father?
Yeah,
you know,
no. So I have to think about those kind of things too. It's like, what if one of
Yeah.
my kids died? You know, what if one of my kids killed themselves? What if, you know, all these kind of things. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm learning how to compartmentalize a little bit because my mind is so active and constantly thinking, and it never turns off. And I'm always in a SWOT analysis. I'm always looking for threats, weaknesses, you know, things. My wife's like, why? Like, you're such a, no, I'm not negative. I am a hyper vigilant human.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the crack. I'm looking for the cracks in the dam. Okay. I'm the one that's examining. I'm waiting to see if what we got to do, something's bad's going to happen in a couple weeks.
I still sit in a certain place in a restaurant, you know, facing doorways and entryway, you know, it's just a habit, just kind of how I am. I try and teach my girls, you know your surroundings. I
grew up as a latchkey kid. You know, I was always looking over my shoulder. I was always afraid. And that's where my fear comes from, is because I never had consistent parenting, consistent like guardianship, like somebody to make me feel safe. I never felt safe in my life. Always was I in fear.
Yeah.
And that's a growth stunting way to be, man.
Oh yeah. And then, because then when you do start coming to a realization and healing, then you got to go do the deep work and heal that. You know, it's like I'm handling things when I react a certain way, I know that it's that child's way of reacting,
right?
Because that's what worked for them, but now it doesn't work anymore, and I gotta, you know.
So, and there's this way, you know, right? Exactly. We have to talk to our child. You know, the way we never were talked to. So we have to kind of go back in time. It's like our minds are time machines.
Yeah.
We can heal ourselves. We can go back in time. You ever see Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher?
No, I need to though.
But it was really cool. You'd go back in time and you'd actually change things. But you can change things. You can rewire the trauma by going back in your childhood in your mind and reassigning feelings to those moments, going back and reliving them. And it's so cool how plastic our minds, the plasticity of our minds, we can change everything. We can heal everything. I think we're designed to be living forever. But all of our food, I mean, dude, Food Inc. is the number one, like watch the movie Food Inc. You've seen it, right? Oh, now that is, we should stop there with conspiracies and just focus on that. Yeah. There's too many fucking conspiracies out there, right? Yeah. But that's the one conspiracy that's 100% proven. It's a conspiracy fact. We know that we are being poisoned. We are being fed cancer-causing fucking agents with glyphosate, fucking Monsanto, these motherfuckers, you know, like, and all of our food is being engineered and designed and put in a box with all these extra, like, big agriculture is horrible, man. You don't want to have you don't want to have industrial agriculture. We want to have many small farmers again, not this oligopoly of 3 meat producing CAFO factory type companies that just give you what, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I've learned on my journey too, you know, with healing, is how our gut health plays a role in our mental health.
Oh dude, it's our second brain. It's a brain, bro.
Yeah. You know, and there was years of like, you know, where I was poisoning it, you know, just thought it was normal, you know. And like I said, I mean, I had, you know, my drinking was off the hook. You're talking about, you know, you feel a little rough this morning, but that was me every weekend, you know, when I was going at it. And then when you're eating whatever's available that's open that time,
that processed food.
Yeah.
So
so I was just killing myself.
You know, and they're putting all like, so another thing about the, you know, the industrial, you know, food kind of shit, like, so they have all these byproducts, like what can we put in food? Like we have this byproduct of like soy oil or, you know, seed oils, all these seed oils.
So sell it and stuff too,
putting all these seed oils into it, which are bad for our, you know, our heart. Now there's good vegetable oils, like coconut oil is good for your heart, all that kind of stuff. But not every seed oil is, and they put the shit in everything. And then you get this whole other fucking movement, bro. Oh my God, I can't do this carnivore, and the Liver King shit that just came through, because it's Liver King. Okay, this guy owns cattle ranches. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a business, their number one thing is to reduce waste. That's how you save money in a business, is by reducing waste. Now, if you have a cattle company, right?
Yeah.
And you're selling just the beef, and the organs now are waste, or you can sell them to like dog food people, you make less money. But if you convince people to eat nose to tail and eat all the organs again, now organ meat is good for you, all that, there's no lie in that, right?
Yeah.
But all he did was convince people to not have any waste in his product, because he wanted to sell his organs to the human consumer, not dogs, right?
Yeah.
There's more money in that. So he's making more money. It was a very good capitalist approach to things, but that's all it was. Follow the fucking money. We have a capitalist society. Follow the fucking money. You want to see agendas? You want to see what the agenda is? You want to see what the whole thing's all about? See who's getting paid.
Yeah.
And why and where it's going and why. And that's what that was all about.
You follow John Joseph at all? Because I know
John Joseph. Oh, I mean from Cro-Mags?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't follow any of those guys. Those guys are fucking retard. I just can't, like Harley Flanagan and John Joe. Those guys are always at each other. They're narcissists, dude. It's unreal.
Well, John's like everything you're saying right now about the food industry. I've heard him in many interviews saying the same stuff. So
yeah, no, that's the kind of shit we should be focusing on, and everything else will fall in line. Don't worry about. There's no fuck. Come on, dude. Really, lizard people. Come on. Adrenochrome. Come on. Like this stuff, torturing kids and drinking their blood to get the adrenochrome. That how far fetched can we be, man? The real things are this fucking. Go start with the food stuff. Focus on what we are being fed. Why is cancer so high?
Yeah, how is that alternating what from what our creator intended for our bodies to be and what he provided,
right.
From a spiritual aspect to feed these bodies, and how man is coming in for profit and twisting it and destroying it.
Exactly.
And then, but like we were talking about, like, the mental health stuff, the journey that you went on, going deep, healing the child. One of the biggest things that helped me to even get to the place, because I was in a place where I put on so much weight. I didn't want to get out and talk to people or associate, but I've been knew Ray from the music scene, I knew Trevor, all those guys, follow them on social media. I start listening to Jocko podcasts and stuff, and I'm like, I've always wanted to do jujitsu, but I didn't have the courage or the anything to even step out of myself to do that.
What year did you start?
I think 2019, like it was right before
when I started teaching over at Ray's.
But I went through,
because you've always been there as long as I've been at Ray's. You've been there. I've known you as long as I've known Ray.
Yeah, but before I went, before I even had the courage to, and these are people I kind of knew, had a relationship with already. So I should have felt comfortable, but it just, and Ray will tell you, I'm still a head case working through a bunch of shit, but hypnotherapy was something I did a lot of that really took me in deep to that child, to start saying, to finally get to the place where it's just like, okay, I know that I need to be held accountable and I need help and I need motivation. So let me go finally make that step and reach out. And that's when I reached out to Ray and started training there. And, honestly, I'm still, the food thing is still like a daily thing, but it's like, I've been through a heart attack, been through hospitalization with COVID and stuff. And I'm only alive, I feel, because of everything all the weight and that I dropped from training jujitsu and everything. I don't think I would be here if I was staying how I was and those things that happened. But what got me to the door was that inner battle and healing that child and, dealing with the still, I see a therapist regularly, still, mental health battle, but I wouldn't even have got to the door if I didn't do the deep work.
Well, it's just being mindful from here on out, like I was seeing a psychologist with the VA, and I didn't get anything out of my actual visits really, but it was just being in the act or in the process of mental health, you're keeping it in the forefront of the mind. You're being mindful.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to be calm. I'm working on calmness. I'm working on how I react. And if it's in your mind and and it's tangible and you're like thinking about it, and when something happens, you're less likely to react.
Yeah. When it's not just a primal habit or something, you know?
Yeah. And I'm in the
You know,
act of or I'm reading books and things like that. I was just reading, Dancing Mind, Thinking Body, or Thinking Body, Dancing Mind. It's a Taoist approach to sports and business and life, stuff like that. And going back to the Mormonism, I think that's what I got out of Mormonism is Taoism.
Okay.
You know, but that's what speaks most to me. You know, is the detachment. Not allowing things to affect you so much. Don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
It's basically an anti-narcissism.
Now, yeah. And speaking of mental health and a lot of us in the military with get PTSD diagnosis and deal with that.
My PTSD is from my childhood, so
Yeah.
the military didn't get to fuck me up with that.
But what's something that you think we can do better to break the stigma of PTSD and mental health?
Don't be afraid. Just talk about it. Bring it up. Everybody's just, oh, that's just so uncomfortable. Just talk about it. Make it normal to talk about it. Make it a normal thing to fucking break down and ask for help. Make it a normal thing not to fucking be this uber machismo tough guy who doesn't ever bend or break. It's like, shut the fuck up. There's no strength to you if you haven't bent or broken. There's no fortification in there. You're wispy and weak. I want the people who are damaged, who've been through shit, and are still here and with a smile on their face and trying to lift other people up.
Like
That's what I want to see.
Those people that survived the tsunami,
Mm-hmm.
But you're a great example of that being okay, because it's like, we come from cultures, especially the culture that you were with, the fighting and the training. And it's like, and, I know with the military, it's just like, we're almost like trained to just throw dirt on it, stuff it, suck it up.
If it hurts, beat it harder.
Yeah. And,
I lived that way. I did it. I preached it and I taught it, and I feel bad about it. I've hurt many people. I probably hurt many people because of that. You know what I mean? Telling them, giving them bad advice of just this tough guy shit. Like that. I mean, that's a good segue right there. This alpha male shit that we're dealing with in America. It's like, dude, if you have a checklist of how to be an alpha male, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not a fucking alpha male. All right. If you're talking about being an alpha male, you're not an alpha male. Of what it takes to be an alpha male and how it happens, and you're assigning it, fuck you. You're not alpha. So go back to 2002 when I first joined the military. The first time I heard anything, it was called type A personality and type B personality. That's all it was called. Alpha, beta, that's where that comes from. Type A personality is just the outgoing human who walks in and sees clutter and dysfunction, and he or she organizes the room. He assigns people duties, takes charge. That is a type A personality.
That's not me.
Someone who comes in and takes charge and does it, right? The leader. The B, the beta, was just a person who follows the orders, and it's not bad. It's not a wrong thing. It's not good to be alpha, and it's not good to be beta. It's not bad or either. It's just simply how the world works. It's like people, types of people. When you get 10 people in a room, if you're going to create something, you're going to put people in there according to their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's not, if people's got to get rid of the competition mind and go to a cooperation mind. I'm a cooperative, not a competitor. I believe we can get far. Like, I have a lot of people in my life that think that competition is what drives greatness. No, it isn't. Cooperation. It's that end product that drives greatness. It's that coming together and cooperating and moving as one.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody bringing each other up.
Yes.
It's not like,
competition is this push you down so I can get up.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. No. If I pull up, I'm gonna reach my hand down and pull you up with me. You know, it might not be the best and healthiest thing for me to get under you and push you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's me getting in the muck in a different way, and I can lose my sight. But if I'm stay above and reach for you, and you reach for me, that's how you change. I can't force you. I can't just fucking get up there.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Because I mean,
come on, first reach, first come get closer to me. This is how you help people.
Yeah.
Come closer to me. First, do the work to get closer to me.
Yeah,
reach my
you're
hand.
not an enabler. We're helping.
Right. And I'll grasp your hand as hard as you grasp mine. And
Yeah.
I will fucking pull. I'm not going to do more than what you're willing.
Yeah.
I used to be the person to fucking just come in and just take care of everything and just take, help you do everything.
That burns you out.
Yeah.
You know?
And then
it's not good for your
and then usually they become a narcissist. And then, when I'm not able to continue that kind of service, now I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm not allowing you to beat me up and just do whatever the fuck you want, so.
Yeah. And you were talking about, how many people, like when you were that, how many people you hurt along the way. But I mean, how much did you really hurt yourself too?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
you can't hurt somebody else without hurting yourself.
Yeah.
It's impossible. We're one. If I hurt you, I hurt me. If I help you, I help me.
But also, like, I mean, how physically you've, hurt yourself from back then. You had two shoulders.
I have 20. Yeah. I have 20 surgeries to date now. So, go back. So I went through selection that one time, and then I healed up the best I could in Okinawa, and I came back through for pararescue. Then I tore my ankle, had to get sent home, came back, healed up, tore my other ankle and my right shoulder. And I still had an invite back, but that was it. Now I entered the year that I had 8 surgeries in a row. I had 4 back-to-back shoulder surgeries and a wrist surgery. And before that, in the military, I had to have Kevlar. My whole abdomen is Kevlar mesh. I had really bad hernias. I had to get my sinuses drilled out so that I can go to dive school for the pressure, from water pressure, shit like that. So I had to get my sinuses bored out so I could just go to, I never even got to dive school. Yeah. Fuck, dude. I had to, I went through surgery just so I can go through selection.
Wow.
And I didn't get to make it. So, but I have letters of appreciation from so many airmen who made pararescue, made through selection because of my training them. Like I have guys that I figured I cracked the code, man. I know how to train people up and pass the course.
Yeah.
I was on the track myself, but my fucking body, I have what's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Those Gumby people, like you see how far I can pull my,
oh, okay.
See that?
Yeah.
See how far I can, that's Ehlers-Danlos. That's stretchy skin is my whole body. Right. So that's why my spine is hypermobile, why I had to get my spine fused. Like arthritis is falling in because all my joints just move around on each other and they're all unstable. So I learned also that my body being unstable is constantly trying to stabilize itself, and it puts me in a state of fight or flight. So there's a PTSD there for my body just from the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. My body's on a high sense of alert of holding everything tight, which is why I go into anxiety attacks bad. My generalized anxiety disorder is actually coming from my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. My body's in a state of what the fuck all the time.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, one thing that, I've still been struggling with, just, I mean, even like today, before coming to class, is just like my stomach's been in knots because, I mean, this stuff just happened yesterday with my oldest daughter. So I was like, I'm holding on to it, that fear and everything. So then you can't crap,
Yeah. And you're going to ride it in your hips and your back's going to go out.
So, and it was just like, I was worried coming to your class this morning. I'm like, man, I hope I don't finally like
have to take a shit
out there, as we were doing, passing and everything. But yeah, it's there's so much from the mental side that we hold on to our physical side. That's like,
we store trauma in our muscles.
Store so much trauma in our muscles, and trying to let but living in chronic pain constantly, like we were saying earlier, it's like we don't always get it right to be that loving human, because when you're in freaking pain, you're irritable, so you're more likely to lash out. So it's like we're trying to find that balance to be that person. And then I don't know, I'm sure.
And then our
like
loved
me,
ones get secondary PTSD from walking on eggshells around us assholes.
Yeah, and that. So we do have that in common. Like then, because then afterwards, then I know I beat myself up because I reacted the way I reacted. So that shame and guilt, So it's like,
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I hate shame and guilt. I live with that shit all day, every day.
Yeah,
in one way or another.
I mean, I've been learning to keep shorter accounts when I screw up. Like I've been reaching out my daughter all since last night. Like, I'm so sorry. I love you. It's just I'm scared. Just admit that I'm scared, and that's why I'm acting the way I'm acting. Yeah. But before, my pride and stuff wouldn't let me do that, and just like it's just the way it is. You got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Walk around like that. So
and where does fear come from? It comes from ignorance.
Yeah.
And it's the word ignorance meaning not knowing, unknowing. So you don't know what the future is, and that brings you fear.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to control that, So you got to let go of the control. You got to realize you were never in control in the fucking first place. I got to remember that. You know what I mean? I'm not in control. And goddamn, that's a fucked up thought.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to chew.
That's where I'm glad I'm in the recovery program I'm in, because we say the serenity prayer often. And when we were going through, all that uncertainty in 2020, as my jiu-jitsu journey was kind of starting, and my health journey, and then all of a sudden it's just like, what the fuck? We can't do shit, but I had to remind myself, well, I have no control over. What do I do have control? I have control over what I do.
Like when everybody was pissing and moaning about it, I was like, you thought you think this is a free country, man?
Yeah.
Like we were in the military. We lived communism.
Yeah.
We volunteered to go live a communist lifestyle. All right. And we know that that's in one switch that can happen to the whole country.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It can happen to the whole country.
I got 3 hots in a cot or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I was promised that, but you put me to work on the, banging, busting rocks or whatever, they wanted us to do, just so we had a roof over our head and, the health care. But
yeah, it's hard to come off that tit, the government tit, of security.
And then, I know one of my hardest things with my transition after the last deployment too, was just like, your days are assigned for you, your hours and everything is like, so you had that structure, which I like structure. It's good. I don't know if you noticed that my dry erase board before we came downstairs, every week I'm like, okay, this is what I got to do on Monday. This is what I got to do on, and changes each, because I still got to have that structure, but it almost becomes like too like controlling, where it's like you don't know what to do when you're out and you're transitioning out. It's like, what do I do with my life now?
Well, the thing about, it's a two-edged sword, really. I mean, like, one, it makes things easier and keeps things going. It's good for large things, but humans don't do well physically and spiritually with redundancy, or like, doing the same thing over and over and over again. Our brains shrink. Our brains become useless. We lose the plasticity of our brains when we are constantly challenging our brains with new things. Like, one simple thing: don't take the same route to work every day. Take a different route. Change things up. Do something different. Don't become predictable. When you go on cruise control, that's when everything becomes shitty. You know what I mean?
It's kind of that, like going back to follow the money and everything, though. It's like they kind of want us just get up.
Absolutely. They want us dumb.
Pressing the button.
A dumb nation is easy control.
Dumb, not growing, not growing, not thinking.
Dumb and unmotivated.
Yeah.
Just
show up, push the button.
I was talking
processed food.
Talking to Josh LeDuc yesterday, and Loverboy came on. Right? Everybody's working for the weekend. So that right there is classic. You're working for the weekend. When I see people loving sports, I'm like, fuck, god damn, your football and your baseball and your programming, and this is what they want from
bread
you.
And circuses.
Bread and circus,
bread
dude.
And
You fucking traded in your fangs and your talons for fucking.
I mean, I still got, I'm like, I'm with you with football and all that stuff, but I still got my, my other numb entertainment and stuff like that. You know, I enjoy now especially since I've been doing jujitsu, watching, you know, more UFC. So when I see some jujitsu, it's like, oh, I know what that is now.
Yeah.
You know, and
You
I'm
can
like,
follow
oh, okay.
along. You can play.
You know, so I can play along now. I've been a big, you know, me and Wyatt, our connection is pro wrestling. We're big pro wrestling fans, so we always talk about that stuff. That's my kind of bread and circuses. But it doesn't, you know, if I miss it, I'm not like,
yeah,
you know, my days are.
See, I have this theory, like the reason why we have sport. What's sport? It's competition. It's to keep us charged for war.
Yeah.
When we stop seeing sports on TV, we'll stop seeing wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you stop seeing people giving a shit what their team did and not fucking like, dude, when you're not seeing Ohio State flipping cars and burning down the whole goddamn town because of a victory or a defeat, you know, like it makes no sense to me.
But it blows my mind too, you know, where I get crazy. It's like you have that much passion to go out there over your team winning, but if we did that to the food companies that are poisoning us, you know, there would be change.
Yeah,
you know, we share that.
But we're too stupid. We're selfish and stupid.
Yeah,
and a short memory span. That's the problem with humans.
Yep. Easily distracted.
Pareto's law, man. But you always got to remember Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule. 20% of a company is what's running the company. The rest of the 80% are just there following along and probably causing problems for the 20 that's trying.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the whole world. This world's running off of 20% intelligence. The rest of the 80% are some dumb motherfuckers trying to fuck shit up.
Our brain we actually use, what we're capable of using, but what we actually use.
Right.
And that's like, you know, what you say, take a different route is when we start using the other parts of the brain, change things, that
learn something new.
You know?
That's what's good about jiu-jitsu is that, or learning music, not just playing music, but actually constantly learning new songs and creating songs. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. It's endless. You can constantly change things.
And another reason why, like, you know, when you started training us at RTSC, you know, what I've enjoyed about, you know, going to your class and learning is because of, you know, your mind for how it's like almost like you play these scenarios through like the Matrix or something almost, you know, like where it's like a new guy like me, it's like, I don't know what to do next, you know, but it's like I start learning. The more I show up, the more, you know, I learn it. But I love sitting and watching, you know, the way you explain things, like your head is so far ahead on things, but it's also like, you know, then you'll add in like, you know, where you're the spiritual aspects and stuff like that. And yeah, it just like you're I guess, you know, what I'm saying too is like your brain, where your brain's at. That's what's attracted me to wanting to learn under your classes and stuff. But I see what you're saying is like how we learn, how we keep teaching our brain and growing our brain, because it's like you're doing a puzzle basically, you know, like how they say for the old people to do crossword puzzles, keep their mind sharp and stuff. Well, it's like I'm doing a puzzle with another human being, you know?
Yeah. Well, another part about it is like martial arts and music that teaches you how to use both hemispheres of your brain in tandem instead of just using one or the other.
Oh yeah.
It's creating a bridge between the two hemispheres so you can use your brain even more. You know, it's like what was that? I love this dog. He just distracted me. I had a thought. What was it?
Makes me think of that one movie, Limitless.
Yeah.
That you know, he had that
the
pill that opened up his, you know, to see every, you know, the mind opened up. But it's like, I mean, we're capable of that.
Yeah.
When we're not poisoning ourselves and distracting ourselves and dumbing ourselves down and letting our frequency stay in fear. And
fear and hate are the two things that just fucking gross, man.
Now, I wanted to get back to your journey too. So your time in the military, you end up finishing that up.
Yeah, that was 2009.
2009.
I got it. So I had a bunch of surgeries.
Yeah.
I was up to 225 pounds. I was on 8 different medications. Because I had all the surgeries going on. So they put me on. So I went from being a 100-mile-an-hour athlete to 0 to overweight, 225 pounds, couldn't hardly breathe, you know, shit like that. And it was from all the meds they had me on. They had me on Lyrica.
Yeah, that's gabapentin or whatever, right?
No. That's Neurontin.
Okay.
I was on it. I was on that though.
Too, and that's where
So-
I blew up a lot.
So
too.
Neurontin, the gabapentin Neurontin. I was on Lyrica and Celexa. They're two. One was an antidepressant for fibromyalgia, and the other one was just a regular antidepressant.
Yeah.
Percocet, Ativan, Klonopin. They switched those two out. Those are your benzos. Speed for the day was my Concerta, Ritalin, Ambien at night, and then muscle relaxers.
Yeah.
So there's that's the so
And
I was on that
hangover.
every single day. I was on that.
Yeah, you talk about the hangover too. It's just like from those meds. I remember when I was on a lot of that stuff. What motivation do you have to get out of bed in the morning?
Oh, none, dude. And then the pain on top of it of not being able to move. You know, it was just very. Yeah, man. I almost lost my family. I almost lost my life. I'm, suicidal during that time. I was just, but through marijuana, I got off of everything. Like I just by 2007, I was on all that shit, and then by 2012, I was off. I got off just by using marijuana.
I know when I was on gabapentin and stuff, and that was for like
that stuff made me a zombie, bro.
Oh my god! So I went through a period where it's like I was still in college at the time, and I was on that, and I wasn't. I didn't. My prescription was running out, and I had to contact the VA to get the prescription refilled. Well, it just happened to be like a holiday weekend or something, and I forgot to do it. And they're closed on the weekend, federal holiday. So
gabapentin's not something you can cold turkey.
Yeah, I was watching Celestial's basketball game up here at the rec, man, and I'm sitting in the back like sweating, and I go, "Is this what like a heroin junkie feels like?" Just like I felt like. So I knew that in my brain, the brain pops or whatever. I was like, I knew this is something that if it's doing this to me, if it's making me this dependent on it, I don't want to be on it.
Yeah,
I'll fucking rather just be in pain or figure something else out. And I ended up connecting with this veterans group out in Idaho called Higher Ground. And they were a huge part of my healing journey as well. We did like recreational therapy, went horseback riding in the Sawtooth Mountains and fly fishing and drinking water right out of the spring coming out of the mountain and everything. It was a beautiful experience, but I connected with another vet that was a diver, and he owned a hyperbaric facility. And he offered free hyperbaric treatments for veterans and a loft that you could stay in while you're getting the treatments done. All you had to do was pay for your food and your travel out there. So the next year I took my girls and we went out there and we stayed like a month, and I did that. And it also speeds up the process of when you're, getting off of medication, detoxing. And that helped me get off gabapentin. It helped me with so much.
That's awesome.
So it's like now I'm like down to, and then, take me through, like I said, the hypnotherapy and all the other parts of my journey to get me to where I'm, attending your class and working with Ray. And now it's like I'm, even after my heart attack, they threw me on a bunch of pills because you got to be on them for a little bit. But then you just start eating right. Your body starts doing what it's supposed to be doing. And now I'm just down on like two prescription, maybe three.
Like little baby aspirin and
baby aspirin and stuff like that. But so then were you like medically retired then?
Yep. Okay. I just got awarded my 100%. I went back because after I got out and I got 80%, I ended up having 4 spinal surgeries and 3 knee surgeries.
Yeah, I remember when
so
you had
that jacked up my rating. They gave me 100% permanent, and then it was cool because it was open for a year, so I had a year's worth of back pay.
Oh,
from when I opened my case until I closed it.
Yeah.
And I got awarded. I woke up one morning to like 30 grand in my bank account. I was like,
nice.
We're out of debt. I just got out of debt.
Yeah. No, that's been huge with helping me be able to pursue, my other healing stuff because, it's like it seems like the real stuff that actually does anything to help people, insurance won't cover. You can't get it through the VA either.
No, psychedelics is also a good route. It's been beneficial.
I've had another guy in the jiu-jitsu journey that's been kind of pointing me that way because a majority of what I still battle is all up here.
Yeah,
and it'll help me kind of like it's like a
it gets you out of your shit, dude. It
like
helps you
the clutter in your brain, you know. So
cleans out the files.
For
me, it gets rid of the bullshit talk in my head. I need to go do this, and I'll have all these reasons in my head why I'm not going to do it. If I take a microdose in the morning of like psilocybin, I don't have that. I just do it. I don't have that thing in my head making things complicated. I can just go function.
Yeah, and see where I battled with that is it's almost like going back to like a religion thing where everybody's telling you about how your religious journey should go. Well, you know, I go to AA meetings regularly, so that almost becomes like another religion because the old timers are telling you, you know, well, if you're not, just because you're not drinking, don't mean you're in recovery. If you're going to go use this, because you know, there's that, you know, they don't look at marijuana as medicine. You know, they don't look at.
You got to go California sober is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So then you know, it's like, well, that's where I got to just say, well,
I'm sorry, weed is not a drug. It's a fucking plant.
Exactly. My brother is that, you know, definitely on that same. So, and I'm there as well, but I'm just like, you know, it's me having to take ownership of my healing and my journey.
But it also it might not be right for you, and it's got to be on your terms. And but you also might be thinking wrong. You know, you could be off on your thinking. You know, I've been there 1,000 times where I thought I had to do things a certain fucking way, and no, I did not.
Yeah,
that's just my brain making. That's another example of it making it overly complicated.
Yeah, when
it didn't need to be to begin with.
Yep.
I got so much fucking clutter in my head. I got too many voices up there, you know?
Yeah, I know. I can relate. I feel you on that.
I have like 3 different people in there talking, you know?
They're not all my friends, you know?
No.
They're not all trying to help me. You know, the one that's my, you know, like biggest cheerleader, you know, is probably the one that's the quietest, the whisperer.
Yeah.
But that's why I got to get quiet at times too, you know, to get focused more on meditation and listen to that quiet voice, that quiet, still voice. But yeah, getting really philosophical here and everything, but which I knew we would, and I'm glad. But back to, so you get medically retired, and then, you know, martial arts always been a part of your thing. When do you start like continue teaching? And
so like I did it right away. Like, so I was teaching the whole time out, even though I was getting med boarded and stuff, I was still teaching jujitsu. Like, and I had 3 main guys that I trained, and they're all black belts and BJJ now and everything too. Like they got their black belts in BJJ before me. My students did. So, so anyways, I get out, I go to my coach's barn right away, and I start, you know, advertising and teaching a little bit here and there, and really nobody picked up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make one more. I'm all busted up. There's no fucking possible way, but I come up with this idea. I'm going to do one more MMA fight to get my name out there and win and do really good. And they'll see how good I am, and everybody will want to come learn from me. That was my plan.
Okay.
You know? So I started training up, and then one day I wake up with my left arm paralyzed, and it's from my neck.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to get that fused in 2011. So 2010, I start the journey of making another run. 2011, I'm getting my neck fused. And then a year later, 2012, I woke up with my left leg paralyzed. And that's when I had to get my lower back fused. So I've had 4 spinal operations from that. And that was when I was living at Strongstyle.
Okay.
I was a coach living at Strongstyle, and that's when all that shit happened. Fast forward 2013, I start college for business management, graduate 2017. 2018, started working for Grappling Industries, driving for them around the country. I started networking with a bunch of different, you know, getting to know different people in the jiu-jitsu community.
Okay.
Got my black belt in 2018, finished up with them in 2020, driving. my back got really bad. My pelvic floor got weak. My lower back got really bad. I almost had to get surgery again because of driving for 2 years. Rehab that. I'm just now getting that better. That's just now feeling better. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I taught that. I always go back to teaching. Teaching is my savior. Is how I stay sane.
Yeah,
is by teaching jujitsu
as well. You know, passing along. You got all this bouncing around in your head, and it's like, you know how they say to journal sometimes. Well, you're sharing, you're teaching. You know,
yeah,
it's you getting it out, and we're the canvas that's taking it. You know,
exactly.
From it. So then you said you were like living at Strongstyle.
Yeah,
like
I was actually living. I had a blow up mattress in the office. I would just I'd get up at 5:30. You know, like the first class was at 5:30 in the morning. I got up and ran the group training and stuff, and it was just because I had to work every day and driving an hour every day. I was trying to save some gas money, so I would spend some nights at the gym.
Okay, all right.
But I woke up one morning. I had to crawl to go set up the workout stations for the class that was about to happen. And I laid on the ground with my stopwatch. And I went to the hospital once that was done and found out what was going on, and that drop. I have like permanent nerve damage. I don't have all my muscle in my arm or in my left leg. My left leg's is smaller than my right leg, and my left arm's smaller than my right.
Oh, wow. And then, during this whole time, then you started, I mean, I forget, how did you ended up getting connected with us at RTSC? Just
good question.
Ray at like,
I don't know how, dude. I honestly don't even know how that happened, because I remember seeing Ray and always thinking, looks like a dick. Yeah, just the way he talked, he's just but you get to know him, he's awesome. He's just a great guy. Honestly, what was it?
We just had that talk this week.
It might have been a meal or something. I don't even know how it happened, but like I came in and I taught something somehow, and he was like, "Yeah, I want you here from now on," kind of thing. Yeah. And I liked him right away. Once, what I mean? That's how it is with a lot of people. Well, I have one of those faces too. Everybody tells me, I mean, my whole family, everybody tells me I'm an asshole. I look like an asshole,
People that want
to. Yeah. So, I mean, for Ray, Ray can't get offended if I say he looks like, because I recognize
me and him had that talk like right before.
I just burped in your microphone.
No, but like, like you were saying with the one student this morning too, about using their voice and speaking up. You're paying to learn this. You got to be able to speak up. And I like I was telling him, I'm like, well, sometimes people are just intimidated, don't want to come talk to you. But he's like, well, I can't help that. Like, I don't know, try and fake smile more or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just that's all you got to do. That's like I look like an idiot. Like I'm just smiling. I wear a hat. Like I usually wear like a boonie hat. I try to make myself look softer, you know what I mean? Not as hard. I try to make myself look a little bit goofy, so I want to be approachable. I want little kids to not fear me.
Yeah, exactly. I know, now speaking of like goofy and stuff, now I had heard something, and you can, share if you want, or tell me that I heard wrong or whatever, but I heard some story, with some male stripper situation that you're involved with or something.
A male stripper?
Some male stripper story that you...
Oh, okay. So at the Lions Den.
Okay.
Is this what you're talking about?
I believe so.
So Lions Den, like we trained full time. Like Jason had money that he saved up and he had money living off of. I didn't. So we're talking about getting jobs and shit. And they were trying to talk me into becoming a male stripper at a gay bar, because you can make like $2,000 in a night, some crazy. And he's like, most of those guys are straight. Don't worry. You don't got to be gay to do it. You don't got to let them touch you. And it was just like this close to like, them talking me into fucking being a stripper at a gay bar. That's the story.
That had been on the resume. And then, we talked earlier too about like, swimming was something that you had to overcome, that fear of swimming.
Now I love the water.
Yeah, because I had seen, that you still will come do occasionally the pararescue water confidence training.
Yeah, like so I
You
train people.
posted.
So back to that, yeah, like so remember how I said I have people who written me letters saying, you know, hey, if it wasn't for you, I never would have made it.
Yeah.
There was people on team, and there was also people that I just trained at base who wanted to go through selection. So I trained them up and taught them how to train. But yeah, you got this thing called Deep End Fitness now, or Underwater Torpedo League. You can follow them on Instagram. They're doing exactly what my friend Mike Maroney and I, you know, came up with, was to go around training people how to do this. Now, it's not just for pararescue selection. Water confidence training is great to keep your brain still calm, get rid of that anxiety. This is what we were talking about earlier. This is one of those things you can actually do to help yourself get rid of your anxiety naturally.
I post about that, and that's why I was like, this looks like something I might want to do. Like even like I hear scuba diving is like very therapeutic.
Because it's all about the breathe. You know, you're learning how to breathe and stay calm in stressful situations.
Yeah, and my biggest obstacle, well, one of my biggest obstacles with my jujitsu journey so far is just my breathing. You know, with my training, I don't breathe right. And when you're talking about boring the sinuses, I'm like, maybe that's why I've had 2 deviated septum surgeries and all this, and it still doesn't seem to help, where I can't breathe.
Do you get sinus infections a lot?
Yes,
you're turbinate. So what the actual
know?
process, what they do is a turbinectomy. You have turbinates in here, like caverns and things. What they have to do is like you have to cut out some of the tissue because it's too thick. And swollen. There's not enough room for the mucus to drain out of, and they inflame real easy, and you can't breathe.
Yeah, so me and my doctor, you know, bounced around like some more stuff, but then I've been kind of like cautious, like I don't know, is it going to be like worth it? But it's like, you know, so much with our breath and breathing properly and
breathing through your nose. We're supposed to be nose breathers.
Yeah, I'm sucking when I'm doing the cardio and circuit. And Ray's always, hey, slow down, breathe properly, you know, because it's like, especially after a heart attack, you're putting so much pressure in my mouth breathing, you know? So it's like, I just got to go in and get it fucking done, you know?
It helped me.
It helped me so much, you know?
Helped me a lot.
But yeah, I saw you did that, you know, you still go do the water training. You love the water now. And I'm sure with all your surgeries and aches and pains too, when
it's much better than running. It's better cardio for me.
Yeah. And then you know, you've worked with I mean, you brought Dave and
Dave Patron.
Yeah.
Your picture. Is that Matt Pinfield above that?
Yeah.
Was he the host of 120 Minutes on MTV?
Yeah, he was host of 120 Minutes.
And then you had Headbanger with Ball with Ricky Rackman.
Who I've had on the podcast.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, just recently. And I'm actually, you know, I've been blessed to become friends with Pinfield. I'm trying to get him on.
Dude, that guy is a fucking encyclopedia of music.
Yes.
I couldn't believe, like, just listening to him, like, interview people. I remember him. I was just like, this guy's smart.
Yeah.
This guy is so smart.
He's awesome. I got the chance to become friends with him on like my journey now in music, and like when he was in town like for the festival at Mansfield last year, I got to hang out and talk with him when he wasn't doing the interviews, and we just talked about our kids, and because he's a daughter, you know, he's got 2 daughters also and stuff, and great dude. So I'm working on getting him on, man, but he's awesome.
But yeah, brought in Dave.
But yeah, so through your journey, you know so many people, formed so many relationships, and you brought Dave in for us and train. Like, how did catch wrestling? You know, when did that become part of your?
That was Ken Shamrock. That's what I learned from Ken. Okay. Shoot fighting, catch wrestling, same.
Okay.
That's my first grappling art is catch wrestling. I was, you know, was known as good, but I don't even like talking about catch wrestling because that community is just so fucked up.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of nerdy keyboard warriors fucking behind their couch, you know, not in shape at all, telling everyone that's not catch wrestling. That's not catch. Oh, shut the fuck up. Yeah. You're not a catch wrestler. How about that? You don't get to fucking say what catch wrestling is or is not.
And then, you know, we were talking about your injuries and everything that you still deal with, but I saw some of the things that you do for recovery, you know, for that you have to do daily habits. And there was something, I think it was called neurokinetic therapy.
I mean, like reprogramming.
That, and then yeah, so that's the mind part that we were kind of talking about, what you do on that end. But then also there was like the straps where you're hanging.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, the yoga straps.
Yeah, how
that's all falls under your traction. You know, you have your hang up boots. You know, back in the day, we had the boots we would put on with the hooks, and you put them on a pull up bar and hang upside down. And now we got those tables, those inversion tables.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
So,
it's just,
okay.
but you're hanging from your hips instead. So you're unlocking your hips, just hanging yourself from different ways.
Okay.
So if you hang from your ankles, you're going to open up your knees and your ankles better, and a little bit of your hips. You hang from your hips, you're going to open up more your spine, your hips more.
Yeah, that's what I need to try and work on, something like that, because I've done the inversion table, but it doesn't seem to ever help my.
No, what you need to do is find a couple studs, put a couple eye bolts in there, and hang up a swing, a yoga hammock down here, and just turn upside down. It's fucking great.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, there's all kinds of modalities of things. You know, I do yoga, I do functional patterns type thing, like, you know, the functional patterns workout thing that people are doing, you know, compound movements and things like that. That stuff helps my body. I can't do regular powerlifting anymore. I have to transform the way I train in all ways, because I'm so busted.
But it's more, you know, keeping fluid, keeping mobility.
Yeah, full range of motion, kind of thing.
When we become stagnant, that's when, you know, the sickness spreads, or the
a sitting duck is a dead duck.
Yeah.
You know, you got to keep moving. You've got to keep moving, because when you're not moving, what are you doing? You're rusting. You're going to rust. Rest equals rust.
Yeah. So and then when you're sitting, and sometimes with our, you know, with our mental health, you know, being still isn't the best for our mind either.
But you can
occupied.
Yeah, you can rest in motion though. There's active recovery.
So like Tai Chi, stuff like that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Don't stop moving.
Yeah.
Rest doesn't mean, you know, the right kind of rest is not sitting still and not moving. It's doing the right things. Rest is an active thing, not a passive.
Okay.
Think of it that way.
And
rest is recovery.
Now, going back to, like, I mean, everything that you kind of, like, you know, to put your body through, you know, I mean, even back from, you know, as a youth, when you first got into martial arts, you know, you got to have a strong mind to push.
Yeah, there's lots of pain to go through.
Yeah. So what have you done over the years?
Pain.
Yeah, I mean, and as we talked about, like, how, you know, first you had the mindset where it's just like, yeah, you're hurting others, but it was hurting you as well. And as you transition now, where you're at, you know, with your thoughts, but what do you do still today to kind of continue to help stay motivated, keep your brain like?
God, what do I do? Well, I have 4 kids. That's what I do. You know what I mean? It's I've done so much work on the front end of my life that the back end isn't, now money wise isn't how I'm working, you know, but like as far as who I am and what I've become, I put a lot in the front end, you know.
Yeah.
I got the back end here is more maintenance and keeping things up. Like it really comes down to what keeps me drive, what gives me the drive, what gives me that is that I've got 4 kids that still have to make it in life. Yeah. I made them. They didn't ask to be made.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like
that you gave me life, but now show me how to live. That one Audio Slave lyric, you know, show me how to live. And that's what my whole, you know, is that. Also, I love like I am a conspiracy theorist, but not like I don't go full idiot like the whole world's going. You know, there's real things, and there's things that are just so fucking far-fetched. Come on.
Yeah.
You know,
there's David Icke.
The earth isn't flat.
Yeah.
It's not fucking flat. You know, you know, that's, I don't go that, I can't get in there.
That was like those guys.
I'm more, Jesus was an alien. Like, if there was a God, there was an alien. I'm more about aliens
Like
and shit.
Prometheus, the
Yeah.
Ridley Scott,
Yeah, along
movie,
those
stuff like
lines.
that,
Yeah. It's more I'm more that vibe, right? But
ancient aliens.
I find life so fucking interesting, and I don't want to die. I have FOMO so bad, fear of missing out. I want to know how this all ends.
Yeah.
I want to live forever. So I just keep going, and that's distraction. Like, not thinking about the pain is how I get through the pain, but like, it's a good question you're saying. Like, so right now I'm in this problem, like working out for my health is hard to do because even picking up a weight hurts.
Yeah.
I have to go through physical pain to pick up a weight, especially with this hand. This hand is completely arthritic.
Yeah.
Like, I have no soft tissue in here whatsoever.
And the weather up here does not
bone
help
on bone. Yeah. And it hurts so bad just to work out. It hurts so bad to go run, to get my lungs pumping. It hurts to swim. It hurts to do any of these things. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not doing great at it. Is actually, you were asking me this question while I'm actually in this conundrum that I'm trying to reverse. I'm trying to work out more right now in my life. I'm trying to actually start working out more than I have been. And I have to get through that. And it's just, you just fucking do it. I don't know, man. There's no way of making it nicer. Like it's shit. It's jumping in cold water.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things for recovery is jumping in cold water. The ice bath that we have there at RTSC is probably like something I've learned to love.
I have a picture of me in a 52-degree ice bath that I did for 20 minutes because when I was in pararescue selection, everything hurt. And I didn't have enough ice packs, so I just threw all the ice in this fucking
20 minutes. Wow.
20 minutes. I think I was almost hypothermic. I was stupid. I didn't know any better. But I'm sitting there. I'm out in 110-degree sun, heat weather, Texas, freezing my ass off, walking to the chow hall.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fucking move.
Especially after 20 minutes. Jeez.
Oh, it was bad, dude. Everything was stiff and I couldn't fucking move. I overdid it, obviously.
Lucky when I make it to 10.
They say it's just like 3 minutes, right? You're only supposed to do like 3 minutes for the actual benefit.
I try and do I try and do 5, and then that's.
See, I want to do hot. I want to actually have the actual hot sauna, cold plunge, hot sauna. That's actually before all this happened, before Wim Hof came about and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
This was called Russian hydrotherapy.
Yeah.
And all that breathing that Wim Hof does, he didn't invent that. The Russians have been doing that forever. That goofy martial art.
The vibration plates too. From what I understand.
Are they the Russians? Yeah. Probably
Russian astronauts. Yeah.
For bone like increasing bone density and stuff.
Yeah, but there was a place called Aniana Kai in Toledo that my friend got me connected with, and I actually interviewed her, the woman that runs that facility, on here before, Charmaine. But I went out with my buddy because he does water filtration systems. And he's done one here in my place, and he did one for their facility out there. So I went out with him because he was telling me all about it, and I was like, I want to check this place out, because they do all kinds of like holistic medicine stuff there. And they had exactly what you were talking about. You sit in the hot sauna, and then you jump in the ice bath, and then you sit in the hot sauna, and they have you do that a couple times, and it's like it creates
a pumping.
Yeah.
Of your lymphatic.
Like, I mean, you talk about us being energy and vibrations. I was feeling. Big time doing that. So I'd love to make another trip back out there. And if I get a chance, I'll
let me know. I'll go. I want to do it.
It's a sweet place. So I was just, curious because of everything that you've been through physically, just how you're able to just keep pushing mentally.
No, it just hurts, man. It just hurts. So my son and I, for the first time, I finally listened to David Goggins, like listening to his story. I've watched the Joe Rogan podcast. My son and I were driving down to Columbus. We had like an hour and a half drive, and we're sitting there fucking. My son goes, "Dad, this guy's you. You're this guy. You're this. You guys are the fucking same exact fucking human.
Yeah.
You just different parts, different experiences. You know what I mean? But fundamentally, and he was asked the same thing. It just fucking hurts, bro. There's no getting around it. You just have to fucking do it. Your love for life has to be more than your fear of your pain.
Man,
you see what I mean? But love conquers fear. Love is the antidote to fear.
Yeah.
Faith is the antithesis of fear. You know what I mean? Love and faith are one. You know what I mean? Now, I hate the word hope. It's a slave's word.
Yeah.
I like the word faith because it's an action word. It's
Yeah.
a verb.
Yeah.
Not a noun. All right. You have to do shit to show it. Faith without works is dead. You know, some say, you know, it's like, I will show you my faith by my works.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, you know, they say, oh, you can't get to heaven without works. Shut the fuck up about your works. You're not even understanding what the fucking scriptures mean in the first place.
Exactly. It's all written in parables, and it's like you have to have the eyes.
And you have to have some certain hermeneutics too. You have to understand what was going on at the time. What was the slang being used? What are these words? You know, they don't mean the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like the word sin in Greek philosophy isn't the same as Christian faith or Christian belief. Sin just means you're doing something that isn't getting you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Anything that is contrary to your path,
to your goal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what a sin
purpose.
is.
Yeah.
It makes you, anything that misses you makes you miss the mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Now, shit, what was that? What was I just going to say? Because, oh yeah, you know, the loving
life
more than the pain. Like, I mean, it was last winter. It was right around this time. Last winter, it was like probably one of the coldest winters we had in a while. We kind of been spoiled, and that's what really triggers my fibromyalgia. You know, like the cold weather. And
that's me too.
I fucking gave in, and I didn't go train jujitsu for months last year, and put weight back on. Everything went backwards. Ray was on me, you know, just like, dude, just come in and stretch. Just come in and do something, you know. And I didn't fucking and I regret it, because who knows where
Ray's so good like that too, man.
You know?
Just like, he is that tough, hard ass coach, but he's so fucking kind and he's smart.
Yeah.
You know, just come in and fucking stretch. Just fucking be there. Just come hang
show
out.
up.
Yeah.
Be, you know, walk
all you
in the
gotta
door. It's all you have to do is walk in the fucking door, you know?
Yeah. Show up.
Yeah, man, I owe that guy so much, man. You know, that's why it's like, you know, I proud to be his friend and do what I do, you know, at the gym for him. You know,
and when he
he's
busts
out
your
of town
balls,
and
he's
stuff.
doing it because he loves you.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he cares.
exactly. You know, but you know, it's like I look back and I told him after I finally came back, I was like, man, I should have been, you know. He's like, well, you're here now, you know, and it's like, let's not have a repeat. You know, I'm like, and since I've been like accepting where I'm at and stop the competition part, the comparing myself.
Yeah,
to
without
everybody
competition,
else.
there's no comparisons.
Yeah, you know, but it's like, you know, I mean, and not that you know, if I was in a better shape, I wouldn't want to do a competition just to cross it off my list and say I did one or something. I'm not, but my competition was I was competing against my teammates in my head, where they were at, you know, not, you know, comparing myself down and just like out of the game before I even showed up and everything. And now it's just like, since I've gotten through that, and I'm just like, I accept where I'm at. And if I'm just a little bit better than I was the day before, that's a win. And, you know, and everybody, we got a good environment there. He builds a good, you know, family type atmosphere there. You know, that's when the stress that I was putting on myself started going away too. And that's when I've now been actually dropping some of the weight, you know.
Pretty wild, huh?
Yeah. Because I was holding on to all that fucking shit, you know, too, you know.
Just let it go.
And
man.
it's like, yeah. So, we've almost been going 2 hours, but so I don't want to keep too much of your time, but when did the psychedelic, you know, when did you realize that how much that has helped your journey and everything too? And how, you know, you mentioned a little bit about microdosing and stuff. I'm going to talk about how that helps.
It pulled me, it broke the cycle. It broke the poison ideas, the poison thoughts, it helped me grab a hold and take control of my mind in a way that I never understood. Like I was tapping into it. So when I was a teenager, I ate acid, you know, once in a while and stuff like that. Yeah. And I didn't do it to party. And I used it to make a decision to go out to California or The Hague. I knew when I was young, like I was already a shaman, you know, like Like something was up.
I
knew
did it to just sit in the bathroom for hours and watch the towels drip.
There you go. You know, but there's something about it. It really spoke to me, but it allowed me to create a better inner voice.
Yeah.
As well. Like I'm more kind to myself. It made me more loving to myself and more appreciative, and not so harsh, you know. God, I have not the word control, but I have control over my acceptance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have control over that thing that allows me to accept or reject things now, you know, and I'm more accepting, and I can now just take things as they are and be like, yeah, things are crazy, and not to control. That's what it is. It allows me to not feel like I need to control.
Yeah. And like, I know where I was then, like I said, I was doing that stuff to party, but now as I've been on this healing journey, it's like, you know, maybe I'm growing now into my, you know, shaman, inner shaman now with you know, opening up and like, especially with the spiritual stuff and unlearning what I was taught, what I thought was like, you know, this is it.
Yeah. Let's use a word that's in its proper term. So the word woke has been re-hijacked.
Oh yeah. A lot of words, a lot of things.
It's like woke was meaning it had to do with realizing was the day you realized you were in the matrix.
Yeah.
That this is all a program, that this is all by design by other people to keep themselves rich and you dumb and poor and constantly in servitude. That's what it means to be woke, to be aware of your surroundings, to know exactly what's going on. It wasn't a racial thing. It wasn't anything.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a woke thing to see. Yeah, we do actually have some systemic racism built in because we are a nation that was built off of slavery. It's just natural. You're going to have a trickle out. You know, we're going to have remnants of that shit for years and years and years until we get rid of it. Things are way better in America now than they used to be. However, you know, the word woke is now being used by the people who started it as a negative thing.
Yeah.
Like it was more of like in 2012, it was more of like a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Those who were conspiracy theorists were the woke ones.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
But are you seeing now what I'm trying to get is like how things get hijacked and retermed. It's like now it's like it's a bad thing. It's now linked to, you know, Black Lives Matter organization, and it's now this thing, and it's about racism. No, it isn't. It's just about, it's like about, fuck, bro.
Yeah, but our spiritual awakening and our I guess like our third eye or whatever, being able to see the world more clearly than what the picture's been painted. Like you said,
then the marketing has fooled us. You know, we've been marketed to since birth.
Since birth, yeah. Since the creation of radio and TV,
telling us what to buy, what to do, what to think, what to fucking, it's insane.
Yep. And then like today, you're teaching on Saturdays at RTSC. And we just did the Grappling Industries when they were in town last weekend. So you're still connected with that. But like, if people that are on a similar journey, especially with martial arts and jiu-jitsu, want to connect with you, like where should they?
Instagram Alien Blueprint is my handle.
Yeah, I like that, and some of the stuff we touched on already, but I want to hear your meaning for why you picked that handle.
Alien Blueprint.
Yeah.
The song by Henry Rollins Band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
it's
I was more like because
Henry Rollins. Listening to Henry Rollins growing up is what had me not kill myself.
Okay, I
listening his spoken word. It was just kind of it's like a homage to Henry. It's like a nod forward. Okay. It's the name of my company too. It's an LLC. I LLC'd it, and but Alien Blueprint. Like if you watch the beginning of him playing the song in Lollapalooza, he gives a forward. He talks about what the people who were made fun of, picked on, nobody want to be around you, but you made it anyways.
Yeah.
That thing that wasn't supposed to make it and wasn't supposed to be there, but you fucking made it anyways, and you're a badass anyways. that's what that is to me. It's the
okay.
I did it anyways. I made it anyways. And alien, octopus, I'm not from this fucking world. I don't fit in.
Yeah.
I'm the alien blueprint. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's what I was gearing more towards. Because what we were saying earlier about how
I was made by aliens, man.
We're all kind of part of a alien petri dish here.
Yeah.
On planet Earth. But
it's a different way to be, man.
Speaking of, I want to ask you some of the questions I normally ask guests that I have on here before we get ready to wrap up. Then, speaking of, obviously Henry Rollins was an influence, but who are your, would you say, are your top 3 musical artists?
Top 3 musical artists. Chino Marino does great stuff. I like Mike Patton's stuff. Maynard James Keenan's stuff's great. I really like Pussifer. That's just a fun fucking situation. I actually went out and visited the store out in Jerome and went to his dojo and went to his restaurants and stuff. And I met all of his staff, and his staff was just fucking cool. That's what I fell in love with. It was just like, man, this is just awesome. I'm not like starstruck. I'm not a fan of anybody. Even Henry Rollins, I'm not like a fucking fan. I did get to shake his hand and take a picture with him. It was awesome. I got to say thank you. That's all I want. That was what I wanted it for. I wanted to tell him personally, thank you. And he gets that shit all the time, but he talks about it. He's like, it's like, tell me, let me know if I changed your life. And he did.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a fan of anything, but I admire the fuck out of like the brand, the whole idea around Pussifer. It's a fucking fun time.
I got to see them when they played Lorraine Theater a few years back because I was good friends with a band that he had taken on the road with him from Cleveland called Uncle Scratch's Gospel Revival.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see
I've
them?
heard of them.
Oh, my God. They were amazing. Brother Ed was a friend of mine. He unfortunately, cancer got him a few years back. But I would have them play shows for me all the time. And they were like... It was perfect. So somehow Maynard got like connected with Ed, loved their gimmick, loved what they did. He took them on the road with him. And then before shows, they'd be outside protesting the show that they're opening.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good shit. See, that's alien blueprint.
Yeah.
What if it's against the grain, if it's against what's going, no, if it's opposite of what's the norm is of what everybody else is doing, that's an alien blueprint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do it different.
So they're amazing. I'll have to send you some of their videos.
Yeah, check. Yeah, please do. That'll be cool.
But, and then, what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school today?
What class? I wrote a paper on that in college. It's like I read this thing called like what I should have learned in college or what they didn't teach me in college. It was about fucking like tax forms and like how to do your taxes, how to fucking balance, there's all this rote memory stuff we learned, but critical thought somehow, like how to critically think, and how to think outside the box and not just do these things. But that's the whole exact opposite of what a fucking these institutions do,
Yeah, exactly. And then
I don't know if I answered your question. I don't know.
I mean,
if there's a class, it's like these something more common sense. You know what I mean?
Everybody goes through the tax thing for sure. That's like one of the most popular answers.
What would you say? What do you think? I mean, maybe I'll get some better answers.
But I mean, you said a combination of, I agree with the.
I get so serious with it because it's like critical thought.
But critical thought. Because it's like all we're doing is putting out drones now. We're not putting out, we're putting out drones and clones.
Yeah.
We're not putting out unique.
Right.
We are all created uniquely. And it's when we become a clone, but we're not as good as the other clone. That's when the comparison thing happens, and we get in our own heads. Because we're comparing ourselves to something that we weren't created to be. We gotta freaking love ourselves, and that's been my biggest. And
that's my biggest shtick. Yeah, that's one of my shticks as a coach is that I don't teach you to be like me.
Yeah,
I teach you how to figure it out. I teach you how to learn. You got to learn how to learn, right?
Yeah,
and I teach you how to learn how to learn. So I want you to become your own martial artist. I want you to look like yourself and not like anybody else, and especially not me.
Yeah,
I create gods. Not servants, not drones, not clones. I create creators. That's my goal.
And it's like, going back to, I can't do all the things that you do. It's like different body structures
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff too. But like when I was able to get that back leg, thing today, I felt like I was doing it wrong. You said, no, you did, good. So because I was comparing,
Right.
instead of like, no, this is how I do it. And I did it,
Mhm.
and you saw me do it. So
It's concept. Get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Don't let that knee be there. What can I, people do this shit.
Yeah.
Open your hands, put your hands on,
Yeah.
do things. It's like whenever we're doing something new, we have to do it. We're so much about rules. I'm so much about not rules. I'm the guy that can walk in and come up with 5 different ways to do that thing you've been doing for 5 years the same exact way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been the other thing that, like I said, with your teaching, when you come in and how I observe how, like, I don't know how he's seeing this, but he's seeing, like 5 different scenarios from the same starting point and all these different routes to go, and how you can, like, what helped me tremendously this morning was like, because I was having trouble breaking my leg still, even though I was rolling over, and Leon he had a tight thing with his leg. But when you said grab the foot, that was the turning point for me. I grabbed the foot, bend the foot, the leg opened up, and boom, my leg comes out. So just those little, key points, And then who are 3 people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Me, myself, and I. I don't know. I am such an octopus and, like a chameleon, such an absorber. There's everyone, dude. It's you too. You know what I mean? Right now it's you. I'm constantly getting stuff from my surroundings. Okay. Yeah. Fuck, bro. I mean, that's a great question. That's something I should sit and think about more. Like, who are the people? But they're always there to me. Like, I'm always feeling kindness and love and a gratefulness to the people who have been around me. Like some of the people who made me who I am are it's in negative ways. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the bad things that have happened that cause. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of it's me learning in the negative, the photo negative, like the opposite. That's what I don't want to be in life, but my God, fuck, dude.
Well, that's your homework assignment.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna make that a homework assignment because there's just so many people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not so
not Joseph Smith anymore. Right?
Yeah. I'm not just fuck. Oh yeah, back then when I was a Mormon, I could have just fucking set everything up. But now that I'm not, and nothing is paid for me anymore, my day is not carved out for me, and I know exactly what I have to do and be and all that kind of shit. It's more up in the air. Yeah, it's more fun.
And then I know you talked about, you want to live forever, you want to be here forever because you want to see how everything ends. But what would you want your legacy to be when that day comes when you're not here? How do you want people to remember you?
That I was kind and helpful and a benefit, not a hindrance.
Yeah, that you were able to take all the negative things that happened to you and
transmute it.
Yeah. That back to alchemy, like we were talking about earlier.
Got to transmute that shit.
And then this is one of my favorites to ask, takes everybody back. Favorite toy as a child?
Oh wow, my dick. Still is today.
Can't stop playing with it. As long as it works.
My best. Oh wow, dude. Such an active kid. I played with everything, dude. Okay, so it was He-Man and G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was my main staple. But the thing about me was that like I watched the cartoons on everything and I memorized and practiced all their voices.
Okay.
So when I played with them, I played in their voices.
Oh, nice.
From the cartoon. But what would happen is if I couldn't get the voice quite right, I would stay on that line until I made it sound right in my head before I could even continue the progress of the playing of what was going
You
on.
must have been awesome.
I,
Like
OCD
Cobra
as
Commander
fuck.
and all that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh yeah, that was the one that I had to fuck with a little more. He had that raspy, that kind of sound. But in my head, it sounded right. I'm sure outside of my head, if I was recording myself, it sounded nothing like the fucking cartoon. But
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
but
an amazing singer on karaoke.
yeah.
To me,
But
Crowd
as
surfing,
far as what I did the most was at physical things. Like trees were my favorite toy.
nice.
That was
Climbing
another one of my
trees and-
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
A tree climber. That I loved being in trees. Still do. I love. That was my favorite job I ever had was tree service. I would saddle climb into and rope down and cut down the tree as I go with a chainsaw limbs and then top it off and fell it all the way. It was fun, dude. My grip strength was so insane for jiu-jitsu at that time too.
Nice. And then any message that you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Watch out where the huskies go and don't eat the yellow snow. No, just try not to fucking get lost in the complex. Still keep your humanity somehow. Still love people. Don't look at them as animals. Don't look at them as dogs. Don't look at everybody as your fucking enemy. You know, it's at the end of the day, we all want a barbecue.
Yeah. Don't lose like who you are really.
Yeah.
Don't be another clone.
Yeah. Don't let it
We're
take
definitely
over.
Clones there. You know?
Oh God. You're punished if you're not.
Yeah.
That UCMJ man gave me anxiety. I just thought for sure I was gonna fuck up. Well, I'm turns out I'm a little bit on the autism spectrum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like it was really hard.
That's related to gut issues.
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
though.
yeah. Ehlers-Danlos too, and there's a trifecta: Ehlers-Danlos, autism, anxiety. You know, like all these different things. Yeah, it's all gut stuff. It's all. POTS too. I have POTS. Like I stand up and pass out.
No, really?
I can't regulate. That's part of Ehlers-Danlos too.
Oh, wow.
Finding out. Yeah, it's fucking wild, bro. But what was I just saying? I had a thought.
I don't know. You went into the spectrum. You know,
Oh yeah. So like my wife, like when we found out, my wife was just like, I fucking knew it. Like this whole fucking time, she's like, there's something about this guy that's just so different and so off, you know. And like being in the military, it was very hard. I'm like, I mean, I was always making people like, what the fuck, you know, like who is this guy? What's this guy up to? Because I was just out there, you know, and I was just afraid I was going to get in trouble all the time because I'm that kind of guy. Will fuck up a crowbar with a cotton ball if you let me, you know. So I don't know. But I masked it my whole life, you know. I'm a mimic, you know. I can imitate, you know. I still don't know really what's socially acceptable, you know, in reality of it all. But it's that's my no boundary, you know, kind of thing. The heavy ADHD is more about that than it is actual ADHD. I'm just all over the fucking place with my mind and thinking differently from what they say.
Like, that's where the you know, the psychedelic part is kind of helps a little bit. Yeah,
I'm actually right at home in DMT land, you know, and I can function, you know, with like that's just normal. The shit that people are afraid of is my playground, you know.
Yeah, and I think I had somebody else from the jiu-jitsu community that was trying to mentor me, kind of recommended that that's something that would probably benefit me quite a bit too, you know, with what I still battle. So I'm definitely, you know, open to discussing that more with you.
Yeah,
you know,
let me know
on the line and everything. But man, Sean, thank you so much for your time. You know, I mean,
no problem. We've been talking about this for like 2 years.
Yeah. And you know, I knew that there were so many, you know, stories I'd, you know, get to learn, but I love, you know, how it just where we took it a lot of times naturally too. You know, can't always stick to the script, and that's not how we do life anyway. But you know, it was good talking with you and getting to know you more, man. I appreciate you coming on.
I had fun.
We wouldn't mind one last favor before you leave. You mind doing a promo ID for the show?
Sure. What does that mean?
Just introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Okay. I'm Sean Daugherty, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Awesome. All right, Sean. Thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate it, man.